Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly paradigm-shifting perspective on divine mercy. We're going to be looking at a profound linguistic and philosophical breakdown of the concept of Ar-Rahman, which is usually translated as the infinitely merciful. Our source material today challenges some of the absolute most basic assumptions we have about suffering, about justice, and even about how we're observed in this universe. Trust me, it's going to completely flip how you view the hardships in your life. So let's dive right in with a really fascinating metaphor from our source. I want you to imagine the most advanced tech we have today. High definition, 3D, virtual reality, the whole shebang. Now imagine a recording system that operates in 3,000 dimensions. The source proposes that if you think a standard physical camera actually captures reality, you're basically just looking at a shadow. What if there's a cosmic recording system out there that captures absolutely everything, going infinitely deeper than just the surface-level stuff of your physical actions? Section 1. The ultimate recording system, beyond HD. You know, we usually think of being recorded or seen by a higher power just in terms of what we physically do with our hands or what we say out loud. But let's look at how much deeper this actually goes. Our source brilliantly illustrates exactly how deep that cosmic camera goes, breaking it down into a 5-level system. First, it captures your actions and words. But second, it records the thoughts behind those words. Third, it peers right into the actual intentions driving those thoughts. Fourth, it logs the deep subconscious layers that form those intentions in the first place. And finally, the 5th level, it records the very source of inspiration, whether that urge came from a place of virtue or vice. Every single layer is perfectly documented. It's a pretty staggering thought, right? And we can look at the hard data anchoring these vast concepts. The name Ar-Rahman appears exactly 170 times in the Quran, and that's including the opening phrase, the Basmalah. Now, this frequency isn't just random. The usage of this term actually peaked during the 6th year of the prophetic mission, which historically was the year of maximum persecution and torture for early believers. So it begs the question, why would the term for infinite mercy peak during literally the most merciless time? Section 2, Decoding Divine Mercy, Rahman versus Rahim. To truly answer that question, we have to look at the Arabic language itself and decode the profound difference between two words that are so often translated exactly the same way in English. There's a really crucial linguistic nuance here. Rahman refers to mercy as an inherent state of being. It's mercy in its pure essence, directed internally at the divine self. It's absolute and it's unconditional. Rahim, on the other hand, is mercy in action, mercy directed outward, toward creation. A great way to visualize it is to think of Rahman as this infinite, boundless ocean of mercy, and Rahim as the actual waves reaching the shore to nourish the earth. Which brings us to another foundational term, Rab. Now, this is often translated simply as Lord, but it actually means the educator, the nurturer, the one who brings something to its ultimate perfection through Tedbiryay, or divine education. So the crucial takeaway here is that true education and nurturing must be fundamentally rooted in absolute mercy. Think about it. A teacher without mercy cannot truly educate. Section 3, the paradox of suffering, mercy in hardship. Now, if the ultimate educator is infinitely merciful, we inevitably slam right into the hardest question of human existence. Why is there so much pain, hardship, and suffering in the world? Like, how on earth is pain compatible with absolute mercy? Let's take a look at the historical record according to the text. The individuals considered the absolute most beloved by the divine, the prophets, endured the most excruciating trials imaginable. Abraham was thrown into a fire. Moses was cast into a river as an infant just to escape a tyrant. Yahya, or John the Baptist, was martyred in his youth. Muhammad endured the crushing loss of his parents, his grandfather, his uncle, and his beloved wife. If hardship just meant a lack of divine mercy, these figures should have had the easiest lives ever. But instead, they had the hardest. Our source uses this incredibly powerful metaphor to explain the paradox. Quote, "If wood had a soul, it would cry as it is cut, baked, and planed. But without this, it could never become a beautiful piece of furniture. Without being stripped and shaped, it'd basically just be destined for the fire. The pain of the saw isn't a punishment, it's craftsmanship." And this perfectly illustrates the core paradigm shift of this explainer. Hardship is not a deviation from mercy. It's the actual application of it. It is tarbiyah, divine education. Being tested by life's fires is just a sign that the ultimate craftsman is actively working on you, shaping you for a much higher purpose. Complaining about the hardship is kind of like the wood complaining about the carpenter trying to make it into a masterpiece. Section 4. Hell and Divine Justice, an intensive care unit. Okay, we're going to push this concept to its absolute limit now. Our source makes a highly provocative claim about the afterlife. How can the concept of hell coexist with a being defined by Ar-Rahman, infinite mercy? Well, the argument is that even hell itself is a manifestation of mercy. Here's the logical breakdown from the text on exactly why hell serves a merciful purpose. First, it enforces justice, because true mercy can't mean treating the oppressor and the victim exactly the same, right? Second, it acts as a deterrent in this world, preventing humans from completely destroying themselves and others. Third, it's a spiritual treatment center for those who didn't heal their souls on earth. And fourth, which is philosophically profound, it guarantees existence. Even being punished means you still exist. To be completely annihilated into nothingness, that would be the ultimate absence of mercy. So the crucial point is captured beautifully right here. Hell is the intensive care unit for souls that did not find healing in this world. It's a painful treatment for sure, but it's still a treatment rather than complete and total destruction. It's an intense purifying fire for those who basically refuse to be shaped by the gentle fires of life on earth. Section 5. The Compass Within, Basmala and Conscience. We've talked about cosmic cameras and the afterlife, but how does this idea of infinite mercy manifest in our daily, practical lives? Well, the source points to the daily recitation of the Basmala, the phrase, "In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful." Saying this phrase isn't just some mindless habit, it's a deeply intentional 5-step psychological alignment. By saying it, you 1. Acknowledge the divine presence in your current action. 2. Recognize you're acting using faculties, like your brain and hands, that were gifted to you. 3. Admit you desperately need support to actually finish the task. 4. Deny the existence of a purely secular realm where the divine is somehow absent. And 5. You actively pray for success. It completely grounds the human ego. But what if you don't actively say this phrase? Well, every single human is born with a piece of this divine mercy hardwired right into their biology. It's called Viktan, or the human conscience. The text describes the conscience as the house of God within the human being. It's literally an inner radar of divine mercy. And the knowledge it holds isn't learned from a textbook. It's innate, it's present, and it's immediate. Look at the sharp contrast the source draws here between the brain and the conscience. The intellect calculates. It uses logic, it weighs pros and cons, and because of that, it can be pretty easily tricked, corrupted, or rationalized into doing terrible things. The conscience, however, doesn't calculate. It operates on pure feeling and innate truth. Your brain can convince you that lying is a great idea right now, but your conscience will immediately make your stomach drop. The intellect can lie, but the conscience never lies. It's the uncorrupted signal of divine mercy broadcasting from inside you. Which leaves us with this final thought. If the source is right, if you are carrying around an incorruptible inner radar tuned directly to a frequency of infinite mercy, and if even your hardships are perfectly designed to shape you into something beautiful, then how are you living? If your conscience is a radar for infinite mercy, how are you reflecting that mercy in your own life today? Are you letting the carpenter shape you, or are you fighting the tools? Thank you for exploring this with me today, and as always, keep learning.